And here comes Hercules, making his way to the ring, microphone in hand. He just recently won the Grand Tour title at the Rising Sun's main event, and here he is, ready to address the crowd of California. California, bow to your God. Bow to the man who last week on BRAWL was screwed by Steven Dynamite out of achieving my ultimate goal. It should be me who rules over this great company. He took that away from me with a smile on his face, and he called it a receipt. A receipt for putting him in a hospital for a month. You see, Dynamite, when I beat you within an inch of your life, that was my receipt to you. My receipt for 1 year ago when you stole the Grand Tour title from me, tarnishing my undefeated streak, my very long undefeated streak. And the other night at the Rising Sun, you said you would give me your second receipt for your friend Amanda Price. To my dismay, she seemed to have gotten her own payback, but we will deal with your friend later. You see, at the Rising Sun was my second receipt, my sweet revenge. You took the GTW away from me, so I took back my title. You can call me a false god all you want, but as of now, one thing is truly 100% undisputed. I am the Grand Tour Champion, and this time, this title will never, ever leave me again. And there's Hercules making his statement after winning the Grand Tour title at the Rising Sun main event. He now declares that he will never allow that championship to ever leave him ever again. I can only wonder what Steven Dynamite is thinking watching this in the back. That was anything but a clean win. Anyone who tuned in on the pay-per-view last Sunday on the Rising Sun at the Tokyo Dome, the main event was Hercules versus Steven Dynamite in a street fight for the Grand Tour title Steven Dynamite was defending. And he was only moments away from winning. He was about to hit his finisher when a member of the Old Gods, Archangel, came out, landing a spear on Steven Dynamite, allowing Hercules to get in his finishing move. And now, with the help of, I guess you can say, his cult, Hercules is now the Grand Tour champion. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to GTW Wednesday Night Brawl. I am Infinite Fantasy commenting. We're here live at California, and we got an impressive match card for you tonight. We have a qualifying match for the #1 contender tag team titles as the Lane sisters, Dorothy and Tiffany Lane of Truth and Consequences, take on Kaden Carter and Katana Chance here in tag team action. We're also going to have Benjamin Bourne here wrestling in singles action. We're also scheduled to hear from Dio Sebastian after his big win over Archangel, defending his World Heavyweight title match. Jamie Hayter versus Madison Page for the #1 contendership for the Intercontinental title, all here tonight on BRAWL. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back after a quick break. Well, 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 if it isn't little Damien. What the hell do you want, Archangel? That was some debut you had on Dystopia. You really showed your father you have what it takes to be in a GTW ring. Yeah, you certainly showed us at Rising Sun when you blew your title shot against Dio Sebastian. Careful, Daddy's boy. Don't forget who it was you were begging to when you were my hostage. Yeah, you're a big man when I can't fight back. I wonder how tough you are when I can. Hey, you're the director's son. Why don't you make the match happen then? I will. Me and you tonight. I will close the show kicking your sorry ass. Really? Alright, Mr. Elliot. I'll see you in the ring. Catch you later, kid. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and we just saw the gauntlet thrown down in the backstage area. It's going to be Damian Elliott in his second match ever in GTW here in tonight's main event as he takes on Archangel. And I can only imagine the kind of animosity Damian Elliott has towards Archangel, one of the men who had kidnapped him and held him hostage and for ransom against his father, the director of GTW, Charles Elliott. And tonight, Damian Elliott will have a chance to show Archangel exactly what he is made of. But coming up next, we got tag team action as we have Truth and Consequences, Dorothy and Tiffany Lane versus Kaden Carter and Katana Chance, a qualifying match for the number one contendership of the women's tag team titles, coming up right here, right now, on BRAWL.
The following contest is a tag team match set for one fall. On the way to the ring, Dorothy Lane and Tiffany Lane. Truth and Consequences.
Here comes Truth and Consequences, making their way to the ring here in tonight's tag team match. This is one of two qualifying matches to determine the number one contender for the women's tag team titles. The Lane sisters, definitely not a normal bunch as they make their way to the ring. A fitting tag team to open a tag team match here on BRAWL in the beginning of October in this spooky Halloween season. Two former WWE wrestlers making their way to the ring. Now wrestling for GTW, they're hoping to win tonight's qualifying match and advance into the number one contender match. Hopefully able to get their tag team title shot at our next pay-per-view event, Fright Night. Fright Night will be airing on Infinite Fantasy / Twitch.tv October 18th. And here we go. There's Tiffany Lane going for a drop kick. And she goes, slamming Carter right into the ring. And here's a moonsault by Tiffany Lane. An amazing display by one half of the Lane sisters here, forming Truth and Consequences. But right now it seems Kaden Carter is seeing nothing but consequences right now as she's in the ring with Tiffany Lane. Here comes Tiffany Lane going for a grapple. However, Kaden Carter manages to reverse into a tarantula. But there's Tiffany Lane getting out of it, sweeping Carter right off her feet. She goes throwing it to the corner, and she tags in her sister, Dorothy Lane. Here goes Dorothy laying in those right hard hands. And here goes a underarm fisherman suplex. 1, 2, but Kaden Carter kicks out. We're going to elbow drop by Dorothy Lane. She goes in to drop the knee. And you see Kaden Carter get in the ring trying to gain some distance. However, Dorothy Lane gets right back out, completely in pursuit of her opponent. And Kaden Carter out of nowhere, smashing Dorothy Lane's face right onto the outside mat. Kaden Carter now throwing Dorothy Lane back into the ring. Here comes an Irish whip into the corner. Kaden Carter now tags in Katana Chance. Dorothy Lane off the ropes. An amazing double team move by this tag team. Katana Chance trying to finish off with another high-risk maneuver. However, did not pay off. She might have misjudged her distance on that one. Dorothy Lane now making her pay for her as she throws her outside the ropes. And she knocks her out of the ring with a drop kick. Dorothy Lane now going after her partner, Kaden Carter, smashing her onto the apron. But Katana Chance out of nowhere, the Hurricanrana coming to her partner's aid outside the ring. You can see Katana Chance really putting on the beatdown on Dorothy Lane right now. Constantly smashing her into that announcer's table. The referee calling 6 on the ring out now. If these two are not careful, we might get a draw and no one will qualify for that number 1 contender spot. Katana Chance running the ring. Dorothy Lane makes it right in the nick of time. And here comes Dorothy Lane applying a somewhat torturous move on Katana Chance, now getting the submission and twisting the arm. However, Katana Chance manages to break out of it and reverses with the leg scissors. And here comes Katana Chance with an Irish whip off the ropes. Dorothy Lane reversing though, getting the kick into the inner groin. And she goes to tag in her sister, Tiffany Lane. Katana Chance getting the hot tag onto Kaden Carter. And now we're back to the first 2 women who started up tonight's tag team match. If we know anything about Tiffany Lane, is she does not show any mercy as she goes to attack both members of this tag team. Katana Chance looking for that tag as she gets in, now squaring off against Tiffany Lane. And quickly, as Tiffany Lane goes for a powerbomb, Katana Chance rolls over into a pin. An incredible reversal by this athletic superstar. Katana Chance now applying the tarantula onto Tiffany Lane. Lane getting the leg sweep in to get out of the maneuver. And here she goes, tagging in her sister Dorothy. Dorothy Lane now in the ring against Katana Chance, and she comes in with a big clothesline, knocking her back down. Tiffany Lane now dragging Katana Chance in the middle of the ring. And here goes the submission hold by Dorothy Lane. Will Katana tap out? No, she immediately manages to turn over using her own body as leverage, getting those right hooks onto Dorothy Lane to get out of the submission hold. And she throws Dorothy into the corner, tags in her partner, Kayden Carter. And again, what teamwork by these two women. An incredible rolling Dorothy Lane over outside the ring, and then manages to set her up for a super kick to the face. She now gets onto the top rope. And there's a cross-body splash by Kayden Carter. There goes the pin. One, but Dorothy kicks out immediately. And incredible, Kayden Carter springing off the ropes, moving halfway across the ring with that leg drop. She goes to the Irish whip. Dorothy reverses, and now she's setting her up for a fisherman suplex. She changed the fisherman suplex into a pin. However, Kayden Carter able to kick out. There's Dorothy going for a crossface submission hold, looking to win by a tap out here. Will Kayden tap out? Will she submit? No, she gets out. Here goes Dorothy, coming off the ropes. Net breaker. Kayden Carter rolling out of the ring. Once again, trying to gain some distance. Dorothy in pursuit. And there's Kayden Carter with a kick to the gut. And she comes in with that combo, fighting her way out of this. And an amazing face buster into the outside mat. Dorothy Lane now takes her down. Dorothy now throwing Kayden Carter back into the ring, breaking the ring out at 8. She's now going for the submission hold once more, looking to once again win this match by a tap out. Kayden Carter looking desperate in the middle of the ring, but slips her arm out.
Tag was made.
Dorothy Lane now tagging in her sister Tiffany. It's Tiffany going for a knee drop. However, Kayden Carter manages to roll out of the way. And she goes tagging in Katana Chance. An amazing bouncing act by these two women. And oh my gosh, she drops her right onto the sternum. Full body weight and all. And Katana Chance now going for the cover. 1, 2, Tiffany Lane kicks out. Here comes an Irish whip into the corner. Tiffany Lane getting the elbow in. She ducks under. And an incredible reversal by Tiffany Lane. She makes her way to the corner, tagging her sister Dorothy. Here comes Dorothy Lane now, the legal partner in the ring. Katana Chance going for the legs to knock her down. She tags in Kayden Carter. Carter now working on the arm with Dorothy. There she is, sizing her up. The crowd in this sold-out California arena going crazy. But here's Kayden Carter now exchanging blows with Tiffany Lane outside the ring. I might remind everyone, Tiffany Lane is not the legal partner right now. But if she can keep this beatdown going, she could get a ring out. Kayden Carter reversing, throwing Tiffany Lane into the ring. And there's Dorothy smashing Kayden's face right into the ring apron. I also like to remind everyone that the ring apron is the hardest part of the ring. That's basically being hit into a steel frame. There's Kayden Carter with another impressive reversal, getting that super kick onto Dorothy. Dorothy got to get up. She's in a lot of danger of being counted out. Kayden Carter now attacking her sister, Tiffany. And we have a countout. Kayden Carter and Katana Chance win.
Katana Chance and Kayden Carter.
An impressive victory for Katana Chance and Kayden Carter as they move on to the #1 contender match, winning tonight's qualifying match. An amazing matchup by all 4 women, but at the end of the day, the victory goes to Team Blue. And what's this? There seems to be a fight breaking out backstage. It's like Amber Shaw is now attacking the witch in the backstage area. Here goes throwing her against the steel bar. You think you're better than me, witch? Huh? Huh? I heard you talking trash before. I heard you saying how I got knocked out. You want to see who can get knocked out? I'm gonna knock you out. You think you're so much better than me? Huh? You think you're so much better than me? You have no idea, witch. You have no idea what you've gotten yourself into. You have no idea what I'm about to do to you. Oh no, what is she doing here? She's got the witch. Oh my gosh, what is she doing? Her face hitting the steel rim there. It's time to burn this witch. Just knocking her all over that steel rim. The witch is in a lot of trouble right now. She's barely able to fight back. Amber Shaw just completely beating the hell out of her. She ended up getting the jump from the witch from behind. And what's she doing? She looks like she has bad intentions, throwing her over and over on that steel rim. Yeah, I'll show you who's better. I'll show you who's better. Oh, what's she doing here? Just carrying her across that. Just slammed her right onto that steel floor right there. I don't know how much more than what she takes. She's taking a massive beating by Amber Charlotte. Hey, you think I'm weak, don't you? You think I'm weak. You think I couldn't take Price? Get knocked down 5 minutes, I'm gonna knock you out in 2. Oh my gosh. Did you just see that, folks? Amber Charlotte jumping the witch from behind. Just threw her what had to be at least 20 feet off of that balcony, followed with a frog splash. I'm getting word right now that EMTs are rushing to the backstage area right now. Officials are breaking up Amber Charlotte, getting her away from the witch, as EMTs are now checking the witch for injuries. It looking pretty bad. She's now being rushed to the hospital. I can't believe what Amber Charlotte did at that moment. It was on the Rising Sun where Amber Charlotte lost by a knockout under 5 minutes in the hands of Amanda Price. And I guess she's not taking it too well because she just completely went AWOL on the witch. One of Amanda Price's closest friends. Another wrestler for the women's roster who has been giving Amber Charlotte a lot of trouble. And I guess the witch, who on social media has been talking about how Amanda Price was incredible for getting such an incredible win, getting that knockout under 5 minutes, and then I guess Amber Charlotte didn't like what she was reading, and I mean, this is kind of disgusting. I mean, this is very disgusting what Amber Charlotte did. here in GTW, we do not condone these actions. I can only imagine what's going to happen next. Ladies and gentlemen, we will keep you posted on the Witch's condition. However, coming up next, we have singles action as Benjamin Bourne takes on Kyle Fletcher. It was on the Rising Sun where Benjamin Bourne had his rematch was chosen for the Intercontinental Championship. Unfortunately, Benjamin Bourne could not seal the deal. This was his second shot at Chosen's Intercontinental title. He seems to be in a bad mood. However, bad boy Benjamin Bourne will have a chance to take out his frustrations as he takes on Kyle Fletcher right here, next, on Brawl.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Making his way to the ring from Green Bay, Wisconsin, weighing in at 231 pounds, bad boy Benjamin Bourne.
Benjamin Bourne does not look like he is in a good mood tonight. It was on Sunday, only a few nights ago, where he lost his second chance to win the Intercontinental Championship against Chosen. Not only did he lose his title match, he also lost his point. He wanted to prove to Chosen that he did not need him as a protege, that he could be his equal. And Chosen has taken that away from Benjamin Bourne.
And his opponent from Sydney, Australia, weighing in at 205 pounds, Kyle Fletcher.
And here comes Kyle Fletcher, a former big name in AEW, making his way in the ring right now as he goes to take on bad boy Benjamin Bourne in tonight's singles matchup. Now this man is no joke. He's a former TNT champion back when he was in AEW. However, I can only imagine, as much as this man loves to use his dirty tactics, he's going to be nothing more but a punching bag for a very, very mean-spirited and very angry Benjamin Bourne here tonight. You can hear the boos echoing through the arena for this man. Quite frankly, I think a lot of people here in California would love to see him become Benjamin Bourne's punching bag here tonight. And we're off. Kyle Fletcher starting off strong in tonight's match as he goes on the offensive on Benjamin Bourne here tonight. And here he goes, getting that armbar onto Benjamin Bourne, using that joint manipulation on Bad Boy here. Benjamin Bourne now with the reversal, getting the upper hand, and here comes a neck breaker by Bad Boy Benjamin Bourne. He's going for the cover. 1, 2, but Kyle Fletcher kicks out. Benjamin Bourne with a knee buster right onto Kyle Fletcher. There he is. Once again, taking out his anger. Benjamin Bourne has a lot of shit he needs to work out here tonight. The two men locking up. And there goes Kyle Fletcher with the arm bar onto Benjamin Bourne here. Benjamin Bourne struggling to fight out of it. But no, he reverses and gets the armbar onto Kyle Fletcher. Like I said, Benjamin Bourne's got a lot of shit he needs to work out here tonight. You can see that he's visibly angry, still visibly upset after losing the Chosen at the Rising Sun. Still here in a GTW ring without a championship belt. Months of work down the toilet, months of Benjamin Bourne utilizing open challenges to prove himself and gain the #1 contender spot. Months of being Chosen's lackey for lack of better term. Gaining 2 Intercontinental Championship matches, only to come up empty-handed, only for Chosen to be proven right. And here goes Bourne. He's going with the cover. 1, 2. Kyle Fletcher kicks out. You can see Benjamin Bourne being rather aggressive in tonight's match. But here comes Kyle Fletcher out of nowhere, knocking down Bourne. And he comes off the ropes with a flying clothesline. Kyle Fletcher now going for a body slam. No! He drives his head right into that second turnbuckle. I think Benjamin Bourne right now is having flashbacks of Sunday night at this moment. A little PTSD kicking in after losing the Chosen. You can see it's driving him right now. I think Kyle Fletcher now knows what he's dealing with against Benjamin Bourne. Benjamin Bourne grabbing onto the ropes to break that momentum after being Irish whipped, and now has Kyle Fletcher against the corner. And there he is, just brutally attacking his back with that double axe handle, followed by a German suplex. And what's he doing here? Going to the crowd, and a big elbow drop by bad boy Benjamin Bourne. 1, 2, 3. Benjamin Bourne with a quick win. Impressive victory by Benjamin Bourne. What's this? His music just cut out. And what? That's the hardcore champion Catalysm. What's he doing here? Catalysm now assaulting Benjamin Bourne. This has just been a night of ambushes. First of which being ambushed in the back by Amber Charlotte, and now Catalysm coming out attacking Bourne. This is the hardcore champion, everyone. Not only is he the hardcore champion, but he seems to be a completely undefeatable hardcore monster. He barely passes as human. Nearly 300 pounds of pure rage and muscle. Benjamin Bourne attempting to fight back, but it seems all he did was make Catalysm angry. And there's Catalysm throwing Benjamin Bourne right across the top rope. There comes Catalysm coming off the ropes with a big boot to the face. He now has Bourne against the ropes. And now he's just laying in those knees, just punishing Benjamin Bourne. I don't know why he's out here, what he has against this man. Talk about kick a man down, kicking a man while he's down. Benjamin Bourne already suffered a major loss. He came in here rather angry in his match, defeating Kyle Fletcher rather quickly. But instead of celebrating, he now seems to be fighting for his life against the hardcore champion, Catalysm. I want to remind you, this is not an official matchup. This is not a match. This is a straight up brawl between these two. Benjamin Bourne is not competing in a match. He's fighting for his life right now. Here goes Bourne, twisting that arm of Catalysm. And Catalysm with a hard right hand to the face. And there he goes with the snake eyes into the top turnbuckle. Catalysm with an Irish whip and throwing Bourne nearly 10 feet in the air there. Here he comes off the ropes with a huge neck breaker, nearly breaking Bourne in half. Bourne desperately trying to get out of the ring, trying to get away from this monster. Again, this is not a match. He is literally just trying to survive right now. And there's a huge hammer right at the back of Benjamin Bourne's head. And Bourne barely getting out of there alive. I don't know what is going on there. Why Catalysm decided to go after Benjamin Bourne out of nowhere. Ladies and gentlemen, we still got more coming up tonight. We got a #1 contender match coming up for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Jamie Hayter taking on Madison Page. And we also still got our main event tonight. Damian Elliott versus Archangel right here on Brawl. But first, a quick break. Victoria Wong here. I'm here with the World Heavyweight Champion, Dio Sebastian. Dio, we just got word that your sister, the Witch, is now currently in the emergency room after being assaulted by Amber Charlotte. Do you have any words? Apparently, beating her friend Archangel at Rising Sun wasn't enough. It doesn't matter how many times we seem to defeat the old gods, how many rounds we go in the ring with these people. They just keep coming back, and they keep coming back, and keep coming back. However, I can assure you that I will have a receipt from my sister. The next time I see any of the old gods, they are finished. Now, if you excuse me, I have to address the crowd as the World Heavyweight Champion. And here comes Dio Sebastian after talking to Victoria Wong, making his out to the ring to address the crowd, saying something about addressing them as the World Heavyweight Champion. I promised I would be a fighting champion. At Rising Sun, I defeated Archangel, and I defeated Hercules. I found out my sister was assaulted, and I am pissed. I am ready to fight, and I am bloodthirsty, so I have one question. Who is next? And here comes Karrion Kross, making his way to the ring, answering Dio Sebastian, what appears to be an open... So, Dio, you want to know who's next? Well, if it isn't Karrion Kross. So you're the one here to answer my open challenge? You want a piece of my belt? He wants to know if I want a title shot against him. Here's my answer. And Karrion Kross now attacking Dio Sebastian. First it was the Witch being attacked by Amber Charlotte in the backstage area. Dio coming out before saying that he wants to know who's next, who wants to come after his title next. And Karrion Kross now coming out to answer. And Dio now giving Karrion Kross that receipt. And here he comes. Driving Karrion Kross down. And he's now attacking him with that microphone. You can see Dio's got a lot of pent-up aggression right now. And Kross coming around with a right hook. He now picks up Dio into a fireman's carry and takes him down. He now throws Dio outside the ring. Karen Cross, who recently was released by WWE, has just joined the GTW roster and already gunning for the World Heavyweight title. And looks like they're making their way up to the ramp. Karen Cross picking up Dio. The two fighting their way up the entranceway now. The crowd not liking this, not like seeing their champion get beat. Oh no, he's got Dio. What's he playing? He's bringing him to the top of the stage. And he throws him right off the stage. And Karen Cross just beat Dio down, knocking him clean out. Dio originally coming out expressing his anger towards what happened to his sister, the witch, looking basically for a fight. Dio basically came out looking for a fight, and Karen Cross came out to oblige him. And we're now getting news from the backstage as Karen Cross is being intercepted by Victoria Wong, asking Karen Cross why he came out to answer Dio's call. And Karen Cross says it's very simple. He wants to challenge him for the title. Demon to demon. We have EMTs currently checking on Dio as we speak. Both him and the Witch, both members of the Fallen, are laid out and out of action. Ladies and gentlemen, when we come back, we're going to have a #1 contender match. The winner will be facing Megan for the Women's Intercontinental Championship at Fright Night. We got Jamie Hayter versus Madison Paige coming up right here on BRAWL.
The following is scheduled for one fall. Making her way to the ring from England,
Jamie Hayter, another former AEW wrestler from the women's division, making her first BRAWL appearance here on GTW. She's been currently active in our house shows and GTW Underground in the past. This will be her first time competing on a GTW main show. However, if she wins tonight's match, she'll be making an even bigger impression as she'll have the chance to face Megan for the Women's Intercontinental Championship at Fright Night on August 18th. October 18th, our Halloween special.
And her opponent from Norwich, England, Madison Paige.
Madison Paige, so far, having an impressive career in GTW. Completely dominating every match she has been in thus far. And by all means, should be the #1 contender for that Intercontinental Championship. And all she has to do is get through Jamie Hayter here tonight to get her match against Megan. I think she would absolutely be a perfect match against that Psycho Megan. She would 100% match her crazy, and for her to wrestle her on our Halloween special Fright Night would be an absolute trick or treat. Who will it be? Who will come out on top to face the Intercontinental Championship? Will it be Madison Paige or Jamie Hayter? Now we're off. Here comes Madison Paige, starting up with a big boot onto Jamie Hayter. She comes springing off the second row with the moonsault. And now we have Jamie Hayter grabbing her by the hair, throwing her against the ring canvas. Madison Paige lining up her opponent, and she comes in with a kick to the face. Here she goes, working that knee, twisting the knee here. Twisting that ankle. Madison Paige continuously damaging that leg ligament of Jamie Hayter. Remember, whoever wins tonight will be going on to the GTW Halloween Special Fright Night on October 18th to face the Women's Intercontinental Champion, Megan, who had won that championship at Summer Bash. There comes Jamie Hayter lining up her opponent, using Madison Paige as a stepping stool for a moment just to project herself into her next attack. Twisting the arm there, she goes for a kick to the sternum. And now she's setting her up for a fisherman suplex. Jamie Hayter is a former AEW wrestler, one of the top names in the women's division in that promotion. Renowned all over England for her wrestling prowess, going up against this monster known as Madison Paige. And there's Madison Paige just relentlessly kicking Jamie Hayter as she has to try that corner, and here comes the cover. Jamie Hayter manages to get the shoulder up. Jamie Hayter now catching the foot, and a suplex by Jamie. And here comes a German suplex by Hayter onto Madison Paige. Because of hop with a clothesline, 2 clotheslines. She's going for a third. 3 clotheslines connect. Madison Paige seeing stars after that barrage of attacks. Here comes Jamie Hayter coming in hot, running across the ring, doing her full body weight into her opponent. Here comes an Irish whip off the ropes, and another clothesline by Jamie Hayter. Here comes the pin. Will she get the title match? 1, 2. But no, Madison Paige kicks out. Here comes Jamie Hayter coming in with a very powerful clothesline. Those clotheslines seem to be her Achilles heel in this match. Madison Paige manages to get the shoulder up at the very last moment. Madison Paige rolling Jamie Hayter into a pin. 1, but Jamie Hayter kicks out. Madison Paige springing off the top rope, going for an atomic elbow drop. And it seemed to connect. Madison Paige feeling very confident right now in this singles match. She goes under. And a drop kick by Madison Paige. Jamie Hayter struggling to get onto her feet outside the ring. And here comes Madison Paige with a high-risk moonsault. Connecting outside. The 2 women now fighting right here in front of our announcer's table. Jamie Hayter now grabbing Madison Paige. Using that dead weight into a German suplex. And here she is, driving that knee into the skull of Madison Paige right now. The winner will be #1 contender. It doesn't matter how you win. As long as you win this match, you will move on to Fright Night for the Intercontinental Championship. Jamie Hayter now rolling Madison Paige back into the ring. He brings Madison Paige into the corner, slamming her head into the top turnbuckle. He brings her to the top. Jamie Hayter setting her up. Bad intentions here. And she does a cutter right off the top rope. The two women now going back and forth. One slap after another, one chop after another. It's a contest to see who can deal out more punishment right now. And Madison Paige now going more on the offensive. Jamie Hayter with a big chop to the chest. And here's Jamie Hayter fighting back. The crowd going absolutely wild as these two women completely go at it with each other. And there's a clothesline by Jamie Hayter as she goes for the cover. 1, 2. But no, Madison Paige kicks out. You can see the frustration on Jamie Hayter's face right now, wondering how Madison Paige is able to get out of that. And here's an Irish whip into the corner. Jamie Hayter taunting her opponent, throwing the elbow from across the ring. And here's a belly to belly. She Irish whips Madison Paige against the ropes. She goes over and comes back with a big clothesline. As I said before, those clotheslines seem to be Jamie Hayter's Achilles heel in this matchup. And another massive clothesline. She goes for the cover. 1, 2, 3, and Jamie Hayter wins. She is now the #1 contender. She'll be facing Megan at Fright Night for the Intercontinental Championship.
Jane A.
An impressive victory by this former AEW superstar, Jamie Hayter. Here comes Brenda Bison coming out to address the crowd here in California. The women's champion after defeating Akira Sake in a submission match at Rising Sun. Akira Sake, I tried to tell you, I tried to warn you that you would not bring honor to your family if you challenged me. All you have done was disgrace your country when I made you to tap out in front of everyone you love. And here comes Amanda Price. Blah, blah, blah. I am the best. Blah, blah, blah. I hate my country except Russia. Blah, blah, blah. I am women's champion. Well, well, if it isn't former women's champion Amanda Price. You know, you and Akira Sake have much in common now. Admittedly, Summer Bash was not my big highlight in my career. However, did you not see that amazing win I had over Amber Charlotte? Knockout in under 5 minutes, baby! Wow. You must be so proud. Oh, I am. And you know who else is happy about that? Director Charles Elliott. So happy that he thinks I deserve a rematch for the women's title. I'll see you at Fright Night. And there you have it, folks. The match is official. It seems after her impressive victory over Amber Charlotte at Fright Night, Director Director Charles Elliott is granting Amanda Price a women's championship match against Brenda Bison at the GTW Halloween special Fright Night on October 18th. That's going to be incredible. It was Brenda Bison who won the women's championship originally from Amanda Price at Summer Bash in a submission match, and now Amanda Price will have a chance to win her title back in our Halloween special on October 18th, Fright Night. That will be live streaming here on Infinite Fantasy /twitch.tv in 2 weeks' time. Coming up, we have our main event. Damian Elliott, the son of director Charles Elliott, an upcoming wrestler, will be competing in his second match here tonight against Archangel. He suffered a humiliating loss on Dystopia. However, he may have a chance to redeem himself as he takes on a member of the Old Gods, his former, the man who held him hostage just a month ago, Archangel. That's coming up next, right here, our main event for Brawl.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall, making his way to the ring from New York, weighing in at 163 pounds, Damian Elliott!
Here comes Damian Elliott, the son of Charles Elliott, the son of the director of GTW, who made his very unimpressive wrestling debut on Dystopia last week, suffering a humiliating loss. When confronted by his former captive, Archangel, Damian Elliott took it upon himself to challenge Archangel to tonight's main event. It was the Old Gods that had kidnapped him and held him ransom against his father, Charles Elliott. And now Damian Elliott will have a chance to get out his frustration on one of the people who held him captive.
The Old Gods from Boise, Idaho, weighing in at 266 pounds, Archangel!
Archangel, another man coming to this match looking to blow some steam after he blew his title match against Dio Sebastian at the Rising Sun. He faced Dio in the opening match for the world title. However, in a straight one-on-one, it seemed he was no match for the Hell Demon. You can see Archangel looking very confident coming into the ring. I don't think he's going to be taking his opponent very seriously in this match. And we're off in tonight's main event. Here comes Archangel starting things off with a big boot on Damian Elliott. Damian Elliott throwing Archangel off. And he comes in with an elbow drop. He's got a lot to prove. He wants to show that he's not just some amateur. He wants to show that he can hang with the big boys in this ring. But Archangel immediately knocking him down with a boot to the head. Damian giving him the receipt. And now the two are locking up. Archangel placing Damian Elliott into an armbar. Damian now reversing, using those technical wrestling skills that he's trained all this time for. Remember, unlike his father, Damian is a trained wrestler. He just doesn't have much in-ring experience. Archangel applying that headlock. Damian getting out of the headlock, now with the behind-the-back grapple. Amazing chain wrestling between these two as Archangel reapplies that headlock onto Damian Elliott. And there he is, applying it even more, tightening that vice grip. You can see the color leaving Damian Elliott's face as he's losing oxygen. There comes Archangel, sizing him up from outside the ring, springing off the ropes with a kick right to the chest. Damian attempting a clothesline, but to no prevail, Archangel immediately getting that sleeper. However, Damian able to counter with that jawbreaker. There goes Elliott coming in with that suplex. And a neckbreaker by Damian Elliott. Archangel starting to wonder if he might have underestimated his opponent a little too much now. It was Damian who said before that you are really tough when I don't have the ability to fight back, which led to tonight's match. Archangel going for that cover. Damian immediately kicking out. Here comes the Irish whip into the ropes, and Archangel with a Superman punch onto Damian Elliott. He comes in, another Irish whip, and he comes in with the very same spear he used on Stephen Dynamite to help Hercules win the title. Damian reaching in deep down to get that shoulder up, trying to find that stuff within him to keep on fighting. He doesn't want to give Archangel the satisfaction of a quick victory here tonight. See Damian writhing in pain right now. Archangel taking his time, torturing him. They told Charles Elliott when Damian was their hostage that if he did not comply, that they would do things to hurt him. And I think what we're seeing in this ring is exactly what they were talking about. Damian is barely fighting back at this point. Because Archangel coming off the ropes and a big boot to the face. Damian barely able to get to his feet. Archangel with another Irish whip. And a huge right cross knocking him out. Come on, Archangel, just do the humane thing. Just pin him right now. Just pin him and end this match right now. If you have any soul in you, you will not torture this man any further. And Archangel, he's just completely beating on him, showing no mercy. He's not even looking to win this match. He just wants to humiliate him. He just wants to hurt him, but no! He's fooling around too much. Damian getting that counter, and here comes a neck breaker by Damian Elliott. The kid showing all his heart right now as he tries to stand up to this bully. And here he comes with the submission hold. Archangel immediately go for the rope break using his ring awareness. And here comes Damian Elliott with a fisherman suplex, cradling into a pin. 1, 2, but Archangel kicks out. That might have been Damian's one chance right there. Because Archangel kicking Damian off of him, and he continues to go on this beatdown on this poor boy. Here comes another Irish whip. And another Superman punch by Archangel. And once again a spear. Here comes the cover. 1, 2, 3. Archangel wins. Okay, Archangel. Archangel, you made your point. Archangel, you made your point. You don't have to keep doing this. What? He's got a steel chair in hand. Archangel, you made your point. You made your point. You made your point to Charles. You made your point. And what's this? Who is this here? Some random wrestler coming to the ring. Coming to the aid of Damian Elliott here. I think that was Mickey James. I don't know what she was doing here. We've never seen her in GTW before. But she just completely came in to the aid of Damian Elliott here. And the good thing too is it looks like Archangel was about to do something very stupid to Damian Elliott. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming out tonight for GTW Brawl. There will be no dystopia this week. However, we will return next Wednesday for another episode of GTW Wednesday Night Brawl, followed by Saturday Night Dystopia next Saturday. And next Sunday, we'll be having our Halloween special, GTW Fright Night. This is Infinite Fantasy signing out. May your fantasies be infinite.